My favorite feeling in the morning. I know it's early. It's like 8:30 in the morning. I've been up since like 6, 7. And that shine right there. And that smell it comes with, that fresh air, when you're alive. Make sure I got my wife. Hey, look, they got some babies with a little bird. All right, we're here. Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Right. And shine. It's now officially fall time. That's right, dude. You can feel it. In the morning, I used to feel it. Now it's like nice little 80 degrees, maybe 85. Before it'd be 105 and you'd feel it. Now you're like, oh, it's nice and easy. I can feel it. I can feel it. And this morning we're gonna talk about the assumptions. They're doing the birds, just chilling with the kids, and the assumptions we make of how much time we have, what we can do with our energy, and just how powerful we are. I am the power, right? I have the power. You got to do your Hercules. You got to do your. I was just looking at it this morning. My design for He-Man. He-Man was I have the power, and usually we hold those powers in swords or positions or mentality. This morning, I want to talk about the mentality of assumptions, just how much of an ass you make out of yourself by assuming certain things instead of going after it. One of the biggest things that we do when we have the power, not only this, oh God, it feels so good to be out here right now. Yes, blessed. And these guys over here doing their thing this morning. Everybody's fucking up and at 'em. I fucking love it. I just fucking love being alive and smelling that smell. Yes, blessed, bro. So fucking cool. Got the ATV going and everything. Let's go, let's go. What a blessing this morning. Who's ready for some I love my life? Love this, bro. Fuck. I wake up in no pain. I wake up in peace. I'm not stressing myself out. Got the blunt in my pocket. And I'm assuming good things, right? Let's get some of this plastic pocket challenge, shall we? Yeah. Ice cream. Y'all should have cleaned up after yourself. And unfortunately, that's what it is. You're assuming something without putting any energy in making sure that it's a reality. And that's why, Richard Bajan, my spiritual mentor, my business mentor, before he died, he asked me to inspect what I expect. And not for nothing, I could expect that my ex-business partner was going to do something. So I changed the password to the Instagram, but I didn't check the weed club. I should have checked the day I walked out of the place and knew we were done. I didn't. And he took the whole account, 700 members, and hijacked it. And I assumed that he wasn't involved in the light page. My assumption got me this static right now. And I almost didn't get to go live for 2 weeks because Facebook or YouTube, let me get all the way up here, I'm gonna smoke over here, assumed that I was pirating the UFC Noche fight last night when really I was just calling it. And I was just, oh shit, here comes this punch, here comes that punch. Oh man, some of these kids, man, plastic pocket challenge, pick up after yourself, fuck sakes. We assume we're gonna have time. That's the sad part. We assume that we're going to have plenty of time with plenty of energy and everything's going to go the way that we hope it will. And unfortunately, like I keep telling people all this week, you can't expect the results of some work you didn't do. That's the sad part, I didn't do the work for the UFC Noche to go off, so therefore I didn't get to cover the why is this thing being such a faggot right now? Come on. Oh, it's the wind. It's trying to be a bit choppier than I like it to be. So we're going to tighten the hat on. There we go. Perfect. So anyway, assuming makes an ass out of yourself, and you and me, but mostly you. You know, you're going off of false pretense, and that's why inspecting what you expect is so important, and putting in that extra effort to put your eyes on it or your fingers on it, hands on it, so then you can actually see what you're really dealing with. A lot of people are on the exterior of things, right? They don't want to do the deep dive. They don't want to go into their childhood. What did the guy say last night? If you exercise 3 times a week and you drink water regularly and you handle some of your childhood issues, you'll have a nice life. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have a healthy, productive life. For the rest of us that are tortured by our past, that we keep repeating the same mistakes and we don't know why, the rest of us, we're going to have a pretty big lump in our eye because we didn't ever establish the foresight. We didn't want to rub our eyes in the morning, take the coal out and be like, oh shit, I've been dreaming, or I've been sleeping, or I've been assuming. And there it is. You wake up 40 years old and you'll be like, oh shit, I'm going to start a career now. And you like assumed that in your 20s it was going to take off. You assumed that you were going to be forever young, and you assumed that there was going to be plenty of time to execute what you had in mind. And unfortunately, in that, the ass part comes out. And that ass part's a hell of an ass part, because like I said, I was almost blocked for 2 weeks because they assumed that I was pirating the UFC fight last night. Or how about people that assume that by killing my baby they would have control over me? Or how about people that assume that they could just steal all my hard work for Weed Club as if it was theirs? Like, they could assume my logo, or they could assume my products in the back of my shop when the landlord stole it all from me. Now, most people will assume that that's unfair. I will have to tell you that not only is it not unfair, but it's also tuition. And unfortunately, like when it used to be free, I heard it was like penny for your thoughts. When it used to happen like that back in the day, you know, you would have free education. Now you pay for your education, not just with money, but with energy. And in that energy, you gonna learn today. I'm so early. The sun's not even over it yet. Here, I'm just gonna leave this right here. Stay nice and cool right there in the shade. Settle that stomach down. I assume not. I didn't go out last night. I just watched the fight, but wherever I went, if I went, I bring my energy. If I go, it starts the memory. You can't separate yourself from the situation. You are there, right? Like, wherever you are, there you are. And a lot of people don't know where to place their own energy. They've assumed that the way it is the way that it is, and no new input's going to change it. It's a very dangerous assumption that 1 + 1 = 2, that because your past has had some darkness in it, that there's not going to be no light in the future, that no one will ever love us. We're too weird. We're too individualistic. We're too strange, right? Yeah, I get it, bro. Keep pumping that shit. Keep assuming that shit. Because guess what? That's the music you're going to listen to. And it's going to be the only record playing on your CD. And it'll be your favorite music because you'll reinforce it. You'll be like, no, it's true, dude. No one will ever love me. Look, I can prove it. And then you'll turn 50, 55, 60, like my buddy, arguing about the politics and trying to date women that got children, and very lonely activity, weird ass activity. And it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna die alone. With that bad attitude, you will. And for sure, assume that, assume that if your energy's low, guess what's gonna happen, Yep. And then assume that if you don't do anything about it, it's gonna stay the same. And then definitely assume that no matter what you do, change is inevitable. So we be doing things all the time. There's some more trash. We'll be doing things some more time. Let's ground myself real quick. We be assuming that we got all the time in the world to fix these topics, and literally you got less than 24 hours every day. I told my girlfriend, she's a sleeper, I've been sleeping, taking naps too, that rounded to a whole number, the amount of people on the planet that can sleep with less than 6 hours of sleep is 0. We all need 8. All of us. Literally less than 0% of people need only 6 hours, 4 hours. They're lying to you. You're not efficient that way. And I know there are people that will try to chop at the bit and try to, cut hours and maybe work longer or get up earlier. And I get all of that, right? But you're assuming that you can run functionally without energy, without rest, and without recovery. And that's the big deal of this situation, because recovery is important, bro. There's a rock. Recovery is important. We are in this to win this. Let me give this to my girlfriend. She's got a heart. I'm even lucky to have a girlfriend. I assume too much, and the moment I stop assuming, right? The moment I stop expecting, right? The moment that I am grateful is the moment I have appreciation for what's happening. It is exactly that moment, because other moments it's like I'm being frivolous with my time, wasteful with my energy, and definitely disrespectful for my honor. And it's not like most people sit there and they examine it that way. They don't want to see themselves being disrespectful with their lifespan, but you disrespect your ancestors. We were watching the Mexican fights last night, and all these people that aren't lazy and worked hard and overcome adversity, you disrespect them by giving up early. You disrespect them by being lazy. My buddy told this kid, he said, listen to your mother and don't be lazy. Like, that's all he had for his son. Now, if you had your son and he's 10 years old and he's in front of you, like my dad put his hand on my shoulders crying like a little bitch in the fucking in the airport, oh, my kids, right? And then like putting us on an airplane to go to our moms, he put his hand on my shoulder and said, you got to take care of everybody now. And that's exactly what my friend did to his kids, 10 years old, puts the hand, listen to your mother, don't be lazy. And I was like, what an amazing advice, right? He could be bitter. We're going through a divorce. Fuck your mom. Give her a hard time. I'm your dad. I love you the most. He didn't do that. Plastic Pocket Challenge. He didn't do that at all. He said, pay attention to your mom and don't be lazy. And think about that with the rest of your life. If you had a don't be lazy mentality, that you didn't assume that progress was going to come your way, or promotion was going to be your day, or that somebody was just going to notice you. When I was coming up as a young man, I used to think, man, I'm in the nightclub, I'm VIP hosting, I'm meeting all these millionaires, I'm going to be a millionaire by proxy, right? Just by being near them, will I assume they're millions and they'll be mine. And the truth is I assumed wrong. I assumed that their energy was my energy, that their money was my money, and that we were all in it together as friends and family. And it turns out that's just drugs. You know what I mean? Plastic Pocket Challenge. That's just drugs. You're assuming that these people have the best effort in mind for you, and that's a bad assumption, because now you're going to find out that they're only there for you to do drugs with you. It was like listening to Highway Rick Ross, the real freeway Rick Ross. The real Rick Ross is not a rapper. He's a drug dealer, and he was one of the biggest drug dealers in the world, working with the CIA and bringing crack cocaine in the 80s to the hood. He's making $1 million a day, but his friends wanted to get high on his ends. Never get high on your own supply. Get a friend that does drugs or is a drug dealer. Get him to do drugs, and then we can all do drugs for free. And as he sobered up and realized everybody was gone and none of them were his friends, and you know what I mean? I'm like, all that disappeared. Just like the allegiance of people, just like their motives, and just like their motivation, it disappears pretty quickly. And you're like, was that even real? You know what I mean? Was that friendship even real? Was that real family? Were we fam, or we were just fucking around and secretly frenemies? These are the questions that you ask yourself. These are the questions that you peel back the lid and examine things and go, wait a minute, not for nothing, I could have calculated that better, right? I could have put my eyes on it, hands on it, soul on it, and see that person really wasn't there for me, that they weren't really wanting the best out of me, that if they didn't get what they wanted out of me, that they would switch. And that's a huge assumption too. You're assuming that people are going to act the same towards you the same way they always do. And for most people, like your root people, when we're looking at the tree, the roots don't want to be shown. They're cool. They're supporting you from underneath. It's these leaves that leave you. Soon enough, these green leaves will be yellow, and the season will change. Assume not that it'll always stay the same. And that's what we do. We want people to stay the same. We want them to come to the same party, go to the same birthdays. I had one ex, she had the fucking same dog, and they all had the same dog for the same litter. So every year they would all go to the same park and celebrate the dog's birthday. They're all from the same litter, so it was the whole family of dogs. It was like dog birthday, and it was just like, I'll be damned if I'm doing the same shit, nigga. You know, just like he said in Cat Williams, I am not going to the same party to do the same thing, wearing the same clothes, you same thinking motherfucker. And it's like that. There's motherfuckers that just stuck and usually stuck in their own ways, and stuck in the assumption that they got more time and we all don't. That's the first big assumption that you want to get over right here, right now. You do not have any more time. Let me put my glasses up. Hold up. There's a sense of urgency that you aren't sensing right now. It is called your life, and it's going down for reals then. And you don't even get it, and you won't even understand it, but that shit really happens. Here we go. Finally, someone shows up. And the worst part is to be on the tail end of that assumption without time, without health, and without a future. You're going to be really pissed off. That's where regret takes in a whole bunch, because you didn't take action. And that's what I've been trying to encourage, the motivated juice, right? Encourage people every morning with the live from everywhere around the world. And let's stay motivated. I got my motivation right here. We're going to get motivated and get my ass up so my ass can see a different reaction. Because for sure I'm stuck in whatever results that I've been giving that same energy. If my energy's that same, that's what I'm getting. You know, whatever you put in comes out. And I'm not going to assume that millions of dollars are coming my way unless I have worked $1 million idea. And it's not enough just to have the idea, but it's enough to have to work that idea. And a lot of people don't want to work the situation at hand. They don't want to be a part of their own solution. They only want to mention the problems, and they don't want to come up with, yep, another solution. I'll wait. Snoochie boochie noochies. Damn, look at all the fucking greenery on this thing. Let me swoop. Let me wipe it off and light it. But, you know, I'm not going to assume shit. There's just no way. I'm not going to assume the fear. That was a big one too. You know, people be like, oh, it's going to all be bad, and we're not going to get the right chairs, and the seats are full, and all the best tickets are taken. And you know what kind of person I'm talking about. They're all over the place. Those motherfuckers suck when they come through with their worry and what won't work, and how much things are, and why you can't go, and reasons why your pussy hurts and it's bleeding, and they'll tell you the whole thing. Why they can't be the way they want to be. Listen to them. They'll tell you. They're like, oh, I got 6 dogs. I'll wait. I don't have a passport. Yeah. Feels good. Just to wake up. Get my hips going, my shoulders going, my mind going, my soul going. My body telling my mind what to do. Or the opposite, my mind telling my body what to do, and not paying attention to my mind, but paying attention to my soul. What does my soul want? What can I yearn for? I'll wait. And then again, I won't wait. I'm not going to assume that I have more time. I'm not going to assume that more people are going to follow. I'm going to constantly get people to follow my shit. I'm going to constantly keep working. Constantly surprising myself of the things that I can do. China, I went and go see it for myself. I don't assume that there was a Machu Picchu. Eyes on it, baby. And definitely Angkor Wat is there because I put my hand on the building. I put effort behind it. And in that effort, I've seen things happen. I've had been in jail and people noticed me from my magazine. I've thrown weed festivals and had the loonies pull a gun on me. I've had women that were 5 months pregnant kill our baby. I assumed that that was impossible. Assumed that that baby's too old to kill a baby at that age, 24, 25, 26 months. You must be out of your fucking mind. And I was right. Looking at her comments from back in the past is like, you assume too much. You assumed that you would still have a power position in my life. You assumed that I was still gonna fuck with you, mention you, and obsess about you. And the truth is I went and found someone else. And the truth is that person did the same thing to me. And then I had to stop assuming that I could date Aquariuses and started seeing my forest through my trees, that I had some work to do. That I couldn't assume that I was healed from my childhood trauma unless I worked on it. And I couldn't assume that Mark Echo was going to get my Saints Branch shirt unless I showed up. And I can't assume that any of my dreams are going to get done unless I put energy in them. And that's just it. And that's why I had to tell people the assumptions are real. You assume that you have more time, and that's a lie. It's the only commodity that you can't get by. You can't buy time, and once it's gone, it's forever gone. And that's why it's so important not to assume. Because you're assuming that there's going to be more time to do the project. You're assuming that somebody's coming in to save you, right? And then you're assuming that the end will be awesome without putting any energy into it. And I think that's a piss poor calculation, because expect what you inspect. Inspect what you expect. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And don't forget to put the energy into it. Don't forget to adjust your sails, bust out your compass, and choose a general direction. Now, there might be many paths to go. It's just what life is. And I'm going to assume that you're going to try to take the best path possible. As well you should. But know this. That's the only life you have and the only time you got, and this is it. Every moment. You only get one shot. You don't get to relive it. You can't pay everybody to be there. You can't pay everybody to be the Super Bowl and the New Year and the first kiss. It's all happening right now. And that's the power of the now. Is developing your now and developing your day. Like, what are you gonna do with your day? I'm gonna assume that I have the energy and power to transform my life, and in it I'm gonna prove it, and not just assume it, but show myself that I can physically go to places around the world, that I can change my physique physiologically, like lose weight and take control over my own butts on shirts, butts on shirts, weed on shirts. That I can take control over my mind and stop worrying about something and start putting energy into something else. That I can move my body so I exercise the demons so I don't live inside my skull and in a room. And that I could push those boundaries even with fear on the tip of my lips, even with uncertain endings. I can still put some energy out there and make myself who I want it to be. And that's where it's at. That's the tough part. It's in our behaviors. It's in our actions. We don't want to recognize it because there's just so much power that we have inside of us. And I have the power! I need a He-Man sword right now. I have the power inside me, just that you have too. It's just that you've been assuming that your lot is your life. And of all things, especially in this side of the country, the number one country in the world where you have the most internet access, you're not in Nigeria, right? You're not born in South Sudan. You haven't gone hungry. You got internet. There's people that don't even have that, and they're assuming they can make it too. So what's your excuse? And that's why what's the excuse yesterday? It was the excuses, right? It's the assumptions, the entitlement. All of it. It's all of us doing all the fucking lies that we believe and assuming them to be real. You're assuming that, you know, by the time you pay off the house, you'll be happy. My friend pays off the house. They still pay almost 10 grand a year in taxes. That's still $1,000 a month for a retiree. And they're just assuming that you're going to die, and they're going to assume your property tax and just assume your property from you. And you spent 50 years trying to assume that property. It's crazy. Or they're going to assume that one day they're going to find love without changing their habits. I got so many buddies that want girls, but they're not willing to change themselves. They're not willing to change their social anxiety. They're not willing to clean their toilet. They're not willing to change their look. They're just going to assume that if they hold tight, right, the monkey trap, just holding on to it, that nothing else is going to change. And unfortunately, I got news for you. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And that's the biggest assumption out there, is that hopes, wishes, and prayers work when work really works. Effort really works. Energy really works. That's what it is. And that's what I was telling my friend Trent. I was like, get out there, do something. And now he's got the content creator studio, and he's got AI images, and he's got schedules on the calendar, and he's got meetings in the Discord because he started some energy. Before that, there was nothing. And that's what I got to tell you. Stop assuming. Start creating. That's the real buzz right there, bro. Creation. And even if this wind keeps blowing, I'm going to assume I can keep my hat on. The truth is, I can't. That ain't going to happen. But that's all right, bro. I'm okay with the confusion. As long as I can adjust my sails and put my nose in the right north and direct some of this ship, then I'm okay with it. There's a lot of things that I'm not in control over. And, you know, the sun rising and me breathing and what life, when I will die, that's not in my control. What is in my sphere is getting up in the morning and exercising, doing what I can to make it fucking happen, and then fucking doing it. Just getting up in the morning and getting after it consistently and creating this life that I wanted, you know, without bullshit, without sideways. I wanted to wake up in the morning, take my time with exercise and quiet time, not rush to someone else's job and build their dream, and that's the dream. And I didn't want to assume anything. So the fact that I get to travel the world, take my mornings on slow, figure things out in my own time, stay healthy, eat breakfast, keep fasting. I'm making my life into the way I want it to be, instead of assuming it to be the way that it is. And that's it. I'm gonna stop making assumptions. I'm gonna stop making excuses. And I'm gonna stop wasting my time because I don't assume that I have it anymore. And that's why I go live every morning. I don't know when my life will end the live, but it'll be one day. It could be during UFC Noche. Shit, you know, get cut off for 2 weeks and then it'll be the end of the show right there. I assume that I get to go live every morning. Joke's on me. I guess I gotta play nice in the sandbox, but you already know that ain't me. So that's your boy Marky Saint. On my heart from the start. You already know what time it is. And as always, peace and love. And Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Phoenix. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But it's the other side of your fears. Yeah, someone has to tell you. It's the other side of your excuses. It's the other side of the world. It's the other side of your fear. And there it is. Everything you ever wanted staring you in the face, but you're too scared to change your character or change your behavior or change your patterns, and you're going to get exactly what you deserve. And that's just the truth. So we all get what we really, really want. This is my life, homie. You decide yours. And I hope that you assume your time is valuable, and so are your ideas, and you get after it. Peace. I'll see you on the other side.